How you doing, guys? Hey, does Watchtower train Jehovah's Witnesses to be bullies and at the same time set them up to be bullied? Stick around, we'll find out. I want to give a big thanks to Devin Diaries. Devin, you've actually on a couple of occasions sent me some very good information. When you sent me this information, you had no idea of the subject content I was going to be covering over the next few weeks. But thank you again. Not going to be covering everything on this, guys, but there was a few things that kind of stuck out. This was from the JW website and what young people ask. And it doesn't just apply to young people, it actually applies to everybody, a lot of it if you read in between it. And basically, it's about bullying. Okay, it says, what is bullying? Why do people bully others? Who is most likely to be the target? Like I said, I'm not going to cover everything on this, but I'm going to be pretty much covering what I think kind of stands out the most. I'm going to kind of skip over the first two and pretty much go into who is most likely to be the targets. I mean, we all know you have your verbal attacks. Bullying can be both verbal as well as physical. The other one that stood out, social isolation. Cyberbullying, I don't know a whole lot about that, so I'm going to kind of skip over that. Now it says here with the why do people bully others? They themselves have been bullied, which chances are is the case. They have poor role models, which is also not surprising. And this one here, I noticed from the get-go, they act as if they are superior, yet insecure. When I was in the Kingdom Hall, that was pretty much quite noticeable. Now, this also kind of stood out. Yous who are perceived as being different. And like I said, this does not just apply to young people, but this applies to all of Jehovah's Witnesses who are perceived as being different. Now, this could also go into the fact that they lack self-confidence and the social isolation. Let's face it, anyone who's been one of Jehovah's Witnesses, basically it's told from the get-go, stay away from the world, don't associate with anybody, and with a mentality like that, of course, you're going to be perceived as being quite a bit different. When I was fading big time, and it was pretty apparent I was leaving the organization, that Tool Bible stalker of mine made this comment, you're isolating yourself. When in actuality, no, I was getting reacquainted with the human race. I wasn't talking to Jehovah's Witnesses, is what he meant. But in all honesty, that was something big when I first started studying, was about isolating, when yet all of Jehovah's Witnesses pretty much shun the entire human race. Yes, because we're no part of the world. Okay, but you are in it and you have to function in it. And this is something, as a matter of fact, Denise Hedberg just recently brought this up on her last video about this. You still have to function in this world. And how can you do that if you don't know how to relate to people? And this is something Jehovah's Witnesses do not know how to do. I've mentioned in past videos that their conversations are completely rehearsed. Which is true because they don't know how to talk to people. Now, when I was in school, I was pretty much a head shorter than everybody else. And I was very shy. I lacked a great deal of self-confidence when I was younger. That was due to my upbringing, which I'm not going to go into. So I stood out. And oh yes, I was bullied. Until finally there came a day where I had just had enough, and I did put a stop to it. The self-confidence in my life came at a much later age, and I was finally aware of what I was capable of, and I was pretty happy with that. It was funny. Once I started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, the first thing they went after was my self-confidence. And I kind of figured, no, it wasn't just me. This was everybody. Now, my Bible stalker, I mentioned this in past videos, I don't want to dwell on this too much, would attempt to shoot me down at every step. Whatever I said, whatever I did. He was definitely a one-upper. And it was pretty obvious that he lacked self-confidence. Now, in the Kingdom Hall, he'd act like king shit. When he and I were out and about, we'd go to a bar or something, I noticed how he introverted. He was now in a shell. Basically because he had no self-confidence. This was something that stuck out to me, guys. When it's talking about the bullying of young people, often victims hesitate to report bullying. I got to thinking about that when a child is abused in the organization. Okay, now, do the elders rush up to the defense of the kid? Do they go to the authorities? Do they try to apprehend the criminal that destroyed this kid's life? No. We all know right now what they do, and this is why Watchtower is in such a great deal of trouble, because this is how they handle it. They bully that kid, and they're not saying anything. They threaten the family with expulsion. And many more times they use, you don't want to bring reproach on Jehovah's name. And the parents, at this point in time, may still be in that Watchtower mode and mentality where they're agreeing with it. And yet this kid's life is ruined. On the rare occasion, you remember Candace Conti a few years ago when she came out. Okay, she was now badmouthed, and she was the victim. And she was badmouthed, and not just her, many others too. You look at the girls who went to Warwick last month. Okay, Rebecca, Trisha, Stacy, and some of these girls were victims. And yet they are the ones being shunned. They are now the criminals, according to the Watchtower and Jehovah's Witnesses. JWs, you got it ass backwards. Look into your own website, because Watchtower reveals its tactics right then and there. I am going to go into this a little deeper in another video. I didn't want to spend too much time. I just wanted to go into what I thought was important. But that one, often the victims hesitate to report bullying. So how many young people in the organization now, lives are being ruined and they're being coerced and they're not saying anything? And for anyone out there who is unfamiliar with it, this is why the Watchtower and Bible Tract Society is now still paying $4,000 a day in fines for not turning over their database with all the known pedophiles in the organization that have not been turned over to the authorities. I believe there is well over 2,000 in there. There may be more, I don't know. But guys, if you want to take a look at this, funny, I'm finding myself on jw.org and JW Broadcasting more now than when I was in. But Devin, I want to thank you much. I will touch on this again in a later video, guys, but I just wanted to bring this out there. Because, yes, Watchtower does train Jehovah's Witnesses to be bullies. And it sets them up also to be bullied at the same time. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Give a thumbs up if you like, and JWs, give a thumbs down. That'll tell me that you're watching. I want to thank my subscribers, and I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have a good day.